that Sony conference was one hell of a presentation by Sony, and I think we ought to take a good look at what these guys have in store. Me and Sean are here to give you the scoop. Thank you for tuning in. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. My name is Josh.
And I'm Sean.
This is 28 of the Variant Verdict. Tonight, we're going to take some time to talk about the most recent Sony press conference that took place earlier this week and kind of share a little bit of our thoughts on it.
Definitely. And if you haven't yet, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of our content.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we are taking a look at the 2020 Sony press conference with the ultimately PS5 reveal. Now, I mean, I've seen many different conferences as the years go on, but this one, this was a good one.
It was a good one for sure, and a lot of bang for the time that they put into this. You can tell there's a lot of highlights.
No, absolutely, and also they took off a lot of the junk that you don't want to see, a lot of the in between stuff and everything. So I think Sony did a fantastic job. But one thing I mainly wanted to go over with this isn't just how Sony did in a conference. I really just want to take a quick moment, break down the games that we got to witness, and see, get our initial thoughts about them.
Definitely.
So to start it off, the first one that they went ahead and gave us a reveal for was SpiderMan Miles Morales.
Yes, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I thought Spider-Man 2 for a moment there, but now it came out that this is going to be a side story, almost like Lost Fortune for Uncharted. But I'm all for it still.
Yes, it's a good holdover till part 2.
Absolutely.
Recent resurgence in Miles Morales between the Into the Spider-Verse movie. I kind of see why they're going to go with this as their next thing going forward. And it's cool. I like Miles Morales, so good.
Hey, I love Spider-Man, so anything else just to extend it on a little further.
I don't think you can really break into the next generation of Sony without talking about Gran Turismo.
Yes.
That was the next title that was brought up.
I mean, now, here's one thing. Racing games are probably my least known genre, or least played genre, but I'd say looking at this, I might have to get my hands on this. This looks fantastic.
I personally like more of an arcade racer than a driving simulator racer. This game looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
I always say that about the Gran Turismo series. They seem to take their time and do really well with the development of these games. Especially the behind the view of the driving.
That's gotten crazy.
I thought looked amazing.
Yeah, even the detail.
No fog whatsoever. The rendering was amazing.
Yeah, the detail of the inside of the car. If you're a car person, you're gonna go nuts for this, because I'm not one, so I can't look at this car and go oh my god, it's this brand and make and model, and I can't wait to see the horsepower. I'm lost. So.
I'm pretty sure this is gonna be an excellent game to showcase the hardware and how powerful this thing can be.
Oh, absolutely.
And speaking of that, because this was one of the graphical ones that just kind of blew my mind. There was no load times either, and that is the Ratchet and Clank sequel.
Yes,
coming to PS5.
Rift Apart.
Let's talk a little about that.
Now, this actually, you could tell that they were displaying this as a way, like you were saying, to show the loading time is gone.
He's just jumping through those loops of different dimensions, and it just threw him right away into a completely different landscape, rendered it without a single hiccup.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. This game looks gorgeous.
It does. And I mean, Ratchet and Clank has never been a strong series that I was into, but anyone who was, I think, has a lot in the future that they're going to enjoy. Also, this for kids. If
the inclusion of a female, kind of interesting.
Oh, well, that too, actually.
With all the titles out there, this is the first time. So.
Yeah, no, it is technically Ratchet, an alternate dimension as a female, but no, good spin on it. So, yeah, I'm down. And is there going to be a female Clank, too? So, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
But I like
definitely. That. So, look out for Ratchet and Clank. Awesome series.
And there is another one here coming out, which appears to be a new series, which I've actually gotten a lot of intrigue in. It's called Returnal.
Okay, yes. I remember this one.
Yeah, if you remember this is one where it's almost as if every time you die, which you're not even sure how many times you've died during it, but it's almost going to change every single time that you go through the game.
She's got the funky eyes in the trailer. One's green, one's
blue. It gives you very little as to what is going on, and I think that helps build more intrigue for it.
It'll be very story driven from the looks of the trailer. It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks awesome though. So it's definitely something, if they were trying to get some interest, they got it.
And let me say, I think this is one of the games that showed off more gameplay than most.
It did, actually.
It gave a good bit of the gameplay idea of what you're going to expect.
No, it definitely did. I mean, there's definitely... This
Some
game looks
stinkers,
intense.
too, that followed it. I'm just going to throw out Sackboy. I'm not a big, crazy Little Big Planet fan. This looks like Little Big Planet stripped away of that and kind of turned into a 3D platformer starring Sackboy, hence the ditching of the title and just Sackboy: The Big Adventure.
Yeah, no, which I agree. It's not something I wanted to jump into right away. I liked Little Big Planet 1. I liked 2, but it started, my interest in it was going downhill.
This is when your bathroom break, maybe during the announcement happened, you know.
Yeah, I'd give it a little bit more of a chance, but when it comes to Sackboy, it feels like Little Big Planet without a lot of the features that the originals had. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they didn't give away too much about the game, but
No, absolutely.
So what's the next one?
Now the next one that we actually had up is Destruction AllStars.
Okay,
now,
I remember
if you're
that.
a fan, if you're a fan of Rocket League and Destruction Derby, this is it. This is you. And I actually do have a lot of interest in this game in the future. I loved Rocket League.
It'd be a fun multiplayer game to launch with the
It
system.
really would. And I actually almost see this being like esports, like one of the newer esports titles that you're going to see that's common, like a Rocket League.
I could see it. It looks extremely competitive, and I think that's what the
does.
trailer was kind of showing off.
Not only is it very, like you said, competitive, it's very destructive, it's very fast paced, but you also have, then I want to know more about this, but you almost have it to where once you get your car destroyed, you're out walking on the field, like messing with the cars.
Yeah, how cool is that? Like,
I
it's a very
know
cool
more.
idea.
It is, and I want to know more about it. So I'm definitely for it.
Then it followed up with the game I wasn't crazy about. I thought it looked kind of cool. This one was called Kena Bridge of Spirits. Yeah. With this game, I felt like it looked like a decent little action 3D action game, I guess, you know. Sean, what do you think of it?
I think I got a little more excited for this than you. I mean, obviously this is going to be a game that's going to come out way later, but it looks like you're playing a Pixar game. Like, it looks like you're playing a Disney Pixar, like a Tangled.
Think Kibo and the Two Strings. Have you ever seen the artwork for that?
I'd almost think like
Tangled, a little bit more
Frozen,
refined than that, yeah.
Like a Disney Pixar.
Brave.
Brave.
Brave's a good example, too.
Yeah, like Disney Pixar. This game looks like straight up playing one. Even has that Pikmin feel to it.
Yeah, like you control elements of those creatures.
Little spirits, little sprites, and almost feels like
I
something
said,
Miyazaki.
it could be fun. It just wasn't the ones, for me, that personally was like a huge standout.
But I do like puzzle games, I think, a little more. Or I like those type of games to where I think this could actually be really good.
There were some baffling choices. We'll start with saying, what did you think of Goodbye Volcano High?
Not my cup of tea, but at the same time, I don't know. That trailer revealed nothing. So
I didn't glean much from the trailer. So if there's people out there that think this actually looks good, you're lying.
It's like I can't see how you can see.
There's nothing to glean from this trailer. It could be good. I guess next.
I mean, there's definitely an audience for these type of like dramatic scenes and things, so all for it if it's your type.
I guess it's, if you're going for like what kind of tone does it set, it definitely sets like a
Telltale, like
feel like and it's definitely Telltale. Like, you know, Japanimation kind of inspired, you can tell.
Like they're all dinosaurs.
Should be interesting. Yeah. But again, I don't know what you can glean from this trailer. It's hard to be excited for it.
Yeah. Now the next one they then revealed is actually one that I'm truly excited for, and that's Oddworld.
That'd be cool.
Oddworld Soulstorm. That's what it's called. Now, I've been an Oddworld fan for a long time, and there's not many of us out there. I loved Odyssey. I loved Exodus. Ever since then, it kind of went off into like 3D territory. Wasn't the biggest on it, but still really enjoyed it. But the first two were it for me. It's going back to that style. It seems much more fast-paced, much more intense.
See, when I saw this trailer, I was like, oh, cool, another Oddworld game. But then as the trailer goes on, and it kind of has this, like, epic, like, slow, drummy, like, war beat going, it sets the tone for what could actually be a very cool title. Like, bring me back into the Oddworld. It definitely sold me on it.
No, absolutely.
Very cool trailer.
And then also, after they go ahead and reveal Oddworld, don't forget, then they revealed Ghostwire, which is that Tokyo one.
Yeah.
Now, this game is actually, from my understanding, was announced, or it was a long time ago that this was supposed to be initially released, where it got delayed, and now finally pushed to PS5. Now, with this whole How did you put it? Like Neo?
I got like a Neo Tokyo horror vibe. Cause you know what? Like there's elements I felt like of the design of Shenmue's Japan, but darker feeling, and then also you had some of the neon sign vibrance of Blade Runner. Very cool.
Yeah.
I liked it. Actually, this is definitely one of the ones that I'm more excited about of the.
One thing that excited me about it, not only was it like the creepy imagery, but it's like creepy cyber imagery. It's weird, but is the fact that you don't have like guns. It's like your hands.
Oh yeah. It's like you're controlling elementals.
Yeah,
you see it from a first-person view
that
of
almost
the fireball forming, and he's like kind of.
And I've seen it in plenty of animes where it's like almost like a monk, or I wouldn't say Shaolin or anything, where it's like they do symbols with their hands to create spells, and like that's what you're doing. That's awesome. So so you're fighting these like supernatural digital ghosts.
In fact, at one point I think was that the one where I said it looked like BioShock?
I think so, but I didn't see BioShock.
It's hard to say. Actually, a couple of the games had like a very neon aesthetic, but I'm never wrong with that. You know, I'm never ever against that.
Definitely a different art style, a different visual style. Almost, you'd almost say it looks somewhat retro, but no. But I would say moving on from that. So what we have next is confusing. It's called Jet, far from shore, like a far shore or far from shore.
Far shore, yeah.
And this to me was one of the oddest ones. Like I felt like I needed where, like this is. What did you call it? Like Interstellar?
It was like if Interstellar was a movie turned into a video game, because I think the idea is that you've finished either with colonizing Earth and you leave it behind and you go into space, and it's kind of got like real physics, like the way that Interstellar worked, where time changes based on like what would be a year in space is like an 8 years in another person's solar system, and whatever have you. And I think it's kind of going with that real science engine.
Yeah.
So this could be an interesting, and like one of the things I remember you pointing out was like this has the potential to be one of two ways. Like this could be really interesting, super cool and unique and crazy and time consuming, but conversely then that means if it's boring, it's going to be really boring.
Yeah.
Really boring.
I feel like I mean, again, this game I don't think comes out until 2022, so there's plenty of time to see more.
I think that's the point, since it's so ambitious, of probably spending a lot of time getting this game down.
Probably, because this game looks like it's going to take, like this game, all you saw was the same shot of a rocket going across different planets, and it's like, is that the game? Because
exactly, you can go one of two ways: completely bonkers, or completely.
It could be like the answer to No Man's Sky that everyone initially wanted, or it could be worse than the release of No Man's Sky. So it's.
Yep.
We'll see how that has to turn out, but that one leaves me with a lot of questions, and I hope to see it soon. And that's a sign down. And so what's the next one that we got here?
Godfall. See, like this is another one that I put this in the spirits category of the game I was telling you about earlier, the 3D action. I'm not super hyped on this one. It looks great. It looks gorgeous. It's it's not my most preferable go-to gaming style. I can see why people would be excited for it.
No,
it's also by Gearbox.
It looks like you're in like God of War action style, just beat the hell out of everything that you see kind of deal. But this actually, I noticed in the trailer, it accentuates like upgrading your weapons. They're like godly weapons and armor and things to where like you can make your character grow. If you're into that, I think this would actually, if you love like,
it's the most medieval choice. If you guys like that aesthetic too, I think it's got the most like knights and armor and like jousty like type weapon staffs.
Yeah,
it definitely has a vibe of the most medieval, I think, of the games that they showed in this presentation.
Not only medieval, but fantasy.
Especially.
So don't expect like a For Honor.
Almost like or Fable, more like Fable.
In a sense, yeah, like you could say in that fantasy type realm. But no, that's definitely something I'm interested in. But it does ultimately look just like a beat 'em up, but not a beat 'em up, but just like an action game. So it's
if that's your thing, maybe Godfall. What was the next one? Do you remember?
I think it was. What is it? Solar Ash, I believe it was called. This one was very odd.
Oh, is this the Japanese kind of inspired one?
Well, there's a game out now that they have called Journey. And it's for PS4. Like, you've probably seen it on there. It was even PS Plus gave it away for one time. But this, I don't know. I didn't actually look it up or anything. I feel like they're from the same company, or at least the same art style, art people. This game looks, I don't even know, it might even be a direct sequel. But it looks very It's like a third-person exploration, it feels, but they give you nothing in the trailer except you walk down a hallway and then you just
One
see
thing
like
I remember from this trailer is it kind of reminded me of Okami in that style.
Well, like that cartoon in
almost like feudal Japan, but not quite. It's a little bit more colorful and vibrant than typical feudal Japan, and it's just like
you need to look at Journey.
Yeah, it looks like a very colorful game.
If you look at Journey, you'll be like, "Oh, now I see it," because you never played that game, right? Like
no, I remember you told me about it though.
Yeah, no, like this game has a very, very similar art style. Like almost like I said, it could really be a sequel.
Yep.
All right, and then and that trailer honestly didn't show us much, but if it is anything like Journey, it showed enough. So the next thing that we have here is a game that I was interested in, and I was a very big fan of the first two. Not so much of its side games.
Which one was that?
Hitman 3.
Oh, okay. I told you I'm not even a huge fan of this, and I was interested in it.
Yeah, you just don't really know the series well. So
No.
Now here's the thing about like just a little breakdown with Hitman. The first two, it was very here's your mission, here's your target. We're gonna plop you in this place, figure it out.
Okay.
Like it was very
stealth.
free stealth. You could do stealth if you wanted to, things like that. Like it was very free to do it the way you wanted to.
Okay.
Where nowadays Hitman's very story driven, railed. Like you can't go that far. You don't have an area to work with.
Okay.
I hope that 3 goes back to that style because that was the Hitman I loved.
And it looked really cool, very cinematic. I was sucked into the vibe, the feel, the tone that they set for the third one. It looked really good.
The Dubai Towers too, the one that you see them up there. Like I have a heights issue, so that's gonna fuck with me. Like I can already tell. Like being up on those towers, I'm not gonna feel good walking around up there. And then after Hitman 3, we then have maybe the game out of all the major titles, the game I'm most excited for, and that's Little Devil Inside.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I think this game, that not only was the trailer really good, this game looks great. It looks interesting. It looks new, and it even raises some questions. Now, some people wonder, like, what is the old guy compared to the young dude doing the adventuring? Is that his master, and he's sending him out on quests? I personally think it's the old version and him reliving his old adventures, but who knows? We won't be able to
it seems
tell.
like two stories are going on at once. I love the comedy aspect that they emphasize between the juxtaposition of what one's doing and what the other's doing.
Yeah.
It looks fun, quirky, like a fun time of a video game. I think that was another one of my personal favorites as well during this presentation.
It definitely is. And I think you were the one who even explained to me that this was supposed to be a Wii U game?
Yeah, when it was originally Kickstarted and it was crowdfunded, it exceeded its goal. But the thing is, I guess development took longer than they thought, didn't make it onto the Wii U. And the backers of the game were just as surprised as everyone else to find out about this announcement. So that's pretty cool.
No, this is awesome. Cause
good for you guys, too. So, I mean, we're all excited for this title. They did a great showing at this presentation.
Yeah, I knew nothing about this title, and you already have my money. So, good job. All right, and then after Little Devil Inside, we have NBA 20.
Oh, my God. It was literally like watching a real clip with, like, digital 3D effects painted over it. I mean, it looks super realistic, but was anyone excited about tuning into the next 2K21 game?
I'm sure there's a ton of people that are excited. NBA is a big thing for basketball fans, things like that. Not my sports game of choice. But the way they talk about it, they hype it up like you won't believe what you're about to see, and they even say like recorded with PS5 from a PS5.
Yep.
It's a FMV video of a guy, which I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's probably one of the famous basketball players. Shows how much I know about basketball. Dunking. And I get it's supposed to be a graphical thing.
I also don't think it was actual gameplay.
No, I think it was.
Then if it was, I was bored by it. It just did nothing.
And not only
for
that,
me.
it does. How does the game play? I don't know.
It was
I
guy
saw a video.
No less a guy alone in the gym, not actually in a basketball game.
Yeah, I watched a video of a guy do a slam dunk, but not the actual game. How am I supposed to? I don't know. It's just.
And what's funny is like they go from that. The next in the presentation they talked about that game, Bug Snacks. Which seems like it's going to be a lot of like it just has a really goofy sense of humor. I liked.
It's interesting.
I thought of I don't know why I thought of Monsters University and that Pixar kind of.
This could have totally.
This could have been
that.
like a DreamWorks comedy for children. My son would have liked.
If this came out as a movie and not a game, I could totally see that being the case. And no, when it comes to this, I think it's very original. I actually think it's they tried something new, and I'm all for new. So I actually didn't. I mean, it's probably not going to be a game I'm personally going to pick up. My daughter
I
might,
can't
though.
completely gleam to exactly how it's going to play out. But I got like an Animal Crossing, maybe a harvesting kind of vibe, whatever you're doing. Maybe
I really don't know.
I don't know. Those are just the vibes I got, but I could be dead off by the time this thing releases and we see more about it.
Of course. But the one thing I will say that intrigued me the most about it was the very end where you see
nighttime. The nighttime, yeah.
Like, what is up with nighttime?
The camera purposely stays on so you see the guy who was narrating walk away and then the sun go down and then the monster attacks the camera, but before that creatures are kind of slithering out.
All those creatures combine.
Yeah,
that's the
it was
thing.
interesting.
Creatures are coming out, they combine into a monster and then run it. So it's like, what the hell is
nighttime? The game's got a tongue-in-cheek vibe, but clearly there's a hidden dark horror element.
I don't know what kind of element, but yeah, I like if it's nighttime is danger. Cool, I'm actually down for that.
Go ahead. What was the next game after Bugsnax?
Now this one here is a Bethesda Softworks game that we've. It's actually a game that's been announced a while ago, and I guess getting pushed to the PS5. Deathloop. Now this game, I'm down. I want to play this.
I'm going to start off our Deathloop talk by saying this is my MVP for best game of show for this presentation for me personally. I thought it had a grindhouse aesthetic.
It definitely did with the 70s.
And it's about these two assassins that can kind of redo situations a la maybe
it's
Looper.
Like a time loop. Yeah,
I thought of Looper when you think of the character of Bruce Willis fighting Joseph Gordon-Levitt across time, with the Looper.
But the assassins aren't the same persons.
No.
I see what you mean.
But I'm saying that concept, you're kind of in a time battle with another agent. So that it's kind of neat.
In a sense. And
I love the aesthetic. It was so cool.
And basically what I gathered from the plot or point of the game is that in one sitting, you're going to have to go through and kill 8 different people in one sitting, but while an assassin's trying to kill you at the same time. So
yes. It's a woman and a guy. They're kind of counterpoint spies. Yeah. Maybe on the same mission. They didn't get into complete detail.
She's like a sniper that's purposely there to take you out, and then you're an assassin trying to take out.
This is Bethesda software, and it's got like a B-movie vibe as the poster.
Yeah, it's got that 70s cool. Grindhouse was the perfect thing you put it. It's like a grindhouse.
And we don't want to bore you anymore, but that's my MVP. I think this game looks like it's going to have excellent multiplayer, probably an excellent campaign. Probably the whole works. I love the graphical style. You'll see it for yourself because I'm going to show all the footage as we're talking about it. Resident Evil 8. Let's talk about it.
Now, this trailer, I like how they did the reveal. I did see the umbrella symbol right away.
And you were like, "What game is this, Josh?" And I saw it, and he was like, "All right, go ahead."
I was like, your clue already passed you. But no, I really like the reveal of this. I think this game looks phenomenal. It brings it back to that Resident Evil 4 France village style.
I got 30 Days of Night vibe.
No, that's Resident Evil 4 all the way. 30 Days of Night's in Alaska.
No, but I'm saying it had a snow. It was in a snow town.
It was, but replay 4
I don't know.
and you'll totally get 4. That's so 4.
It looks great.
I actually think it's the same.
And then how about that reveal at the end with Chris? Was it Chris Redfield?
It was Chris Redfield, and
cool.
You don't know. It leaves it open. Is he bad? Is he good? But it also appears that you are. I think his name is Ethan.
This is the character from 7, right?
Yeah, and you are the character from 7 going on, and I could be wrong, but no, actually, I don't think I am. This is the first time that Resident Evil went from one number to another with the same character.
Yeah.
So that's actually a little interesting.
I guess 7 must have had a good enough reception. They're just kind of
7 was
barreling forward with the guy. Same story.
7 was nuts. So why not keep it going? And
I thought it looked pretty good though. I don't follow him regularly. I played a handful. Looks great.
Yep.
Look into that. Look at the trailer. So the next one kind of plays out like a teaser you'd see for a movie, like Cloverfield. Remember when that came out?
Yeah.
You just got the tiniest teaser, but you knew it wasn't coming out for a couple more years. All you had is 2 years to speculate what this thing could be.
Yeah.
That's what was it called? Pragmata, I think?
Yeah, Pragmata.
It was definitely like a game. looks like a guy who's an astronaut gets his daughter into outer space.
Or it's not even a daughter. It's like a
little girl
cyborg that he ran into.
But it's a little girl, right?
Yeah, but it's like you don't know if he was looking for her, just ran into her, whatever. But like
he gets her to the moon. You see this beautiful image of Earth coming. I think it says December 2022.
2022.
I mean, like, so it's one of those trailers where it's super, super vague. It looks super, super.
But it looks very
to speculate.
It looks very interdimensional. Like you're not exactly sure what you're seeing when you see it, but it raises a lot of questions. But I'm also I have a lot of excitement for this, so
yes.
I can't wait to see what this is going to be. I can't tell
you. If you have any
what
predictions,
it is
leave your comments about this one.
Yeah.
If anything, we just wanted to bring it up so that you guys can give us your opinion too, because it looks epic. Just don't know much we could say about it.
Yeah, I really don't.
Not
know.
a lot you could take away from this trailer besides it looks awesome. We've talked about it for 2 years, and hopefully we get more and more.
We'll get more. Like next year, we'll get little bits more and more and more. I'm sure.
The way it finished up, this is all you.
Oh yeah,
tell me about this. You've been begging me to play Horizon Zero Dawn for a long time.
Yes. Now,
so tell me about
you
this
still
one.
need to fucking play it. Mm-hmm. So where Deathloop was your MVP, this has to be my MVP. And obviously, Sony knew this was their MVP. But we got Horizon 2 Forbidden West, the trailer for that. Now,
I got chills from this one.
Nah, this shit, Horizon Zero Dawn was awesome.
Yeah,
that game was
game.
top 3
That's
of
PS4?
all PS4. Yep,
okay,
top 3 of all PS4 games probably. The only game I can think of off the top of my head that can beat it is like God of War. Nope, SpiderMan, don't do it. Hell, it might even be number 2. But, no, we're following Aloy again. This time, instead of in the Colorado Midwest area, we're now actually going into the West Coast. A lot of new creatures. There's actually real life in this one. So I can't wait.
I think of it like when I saw the
trailer.
first time you see a trailer, like when you saw Avatar and you saw Pandora for the first time. It's kind of like when you saw this Horizon trailer, and it's like the longer it goes on, it seems like it's just a very colorful, fucking. I love the world that it's set in, so I'm curious to check out Horizon. He's been telling me about it for a long time.
Absolutely.
So how do we finish this thing up?
And we finish it up with the exact same way they finish it up. Check this sweetness out.
Yeah, so I mean, this thing looks pretty cool. I like the design. I like the model look of it. It's kind of sleek. It's futuristic.
No, it definitely is. A complete contrast to the actual new Xbox console, which I'm not going to lie, kind of looks a little stupid and more like a development kit than an actual console.
It's like a rectangular cube.
It's just
tower.
A box. It literally, I don't know. I'm not big on it. I don't know. Even with Xbox One, things like that, Microsoft's kind of lost me. Kind of become more of a Sony guy. Although I am one who will still claim that the 360 was an all-around better console than PS3. But when it comes to this console, I like the look of it. Sure, I think the Xbox may have a little bit of advantage of power. I think it has like the little bit of a stronger processor, as well as, or I think a graphical unit, GPU. Also, I think it has announced so far for farther backwards compatibility, which is cool. But I don't care if your system is stronger. That honestly doesn't affect me. It's about the quality of games. And anything that I've seen on Microsoft's end about the quality of games coming out is nothing compared to what Sony just showed us in a 45-hour long conference. So everything that just dropped here, I have more interest.
Statistically, they're not terribly different. They both run with that 120 frame rate, frames FPS. They're both very similar as far as memory, except there's a little bit less in the PlayStation, like you mentioned, which I don't think is going to hinder it. I think the thing with Sony, too, is they have an excellent idea for this new controller, which is essentially like it's called the DualSense, not the DualShock this time. Yeah. It's a lot like the PS4 remote. I feel like they kind of got rid of those ridges that are under the dual sticks.
A little bit.
And it's a little bit more smoothed out there.
Yeah.
Skinnier handles. I think it's going to be a really nice controller. I think Sony's always had a good idea of how to make the everyman controller for every size hand
Sony,
person.
I mean, that's why you notice they don't change it much from PlayStation 1 because
Absolutely.
they had
It's a
something
good
perfect
formula.
and it works and you're just going to keep going.
They're both aiming for holiday 2020 release.
Yep, absolutely.
As you could tell from a lot of the game footage, they do mention these games are going to be out by that time, at least some of them, holiday of 2020.
And one thing I can say, though, is that when I first saw the system, as much as I liked it, there was a part of me that was hoping that instead of the pure white that we got, almost like the original PlayStation gray. Like, I don't know, for something, I would have loved that. So that's something I was kind of like, that was something I was kind of like, oh. But at the same time,
I do like the
still
LED
like it.
light, though, and stuff that kind of goes around the fan looking
cascades,
inside area that you
cascades off
mentioned.
the
It looks like a
inside.
V, almost like a 5.
And somebody pointed that out to me. It's almost in the shape of a V, like the 5.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it's like the system
And
itself is showing you.
I want to end by mentioning that there is going to be 2 models for this unit.
Yep.
One will be a digital-only model. One will be a disc model. Now, I'm going to make a prediction here. I think this is going to set a precedent as to gauging the industry taking over from a digital aspect. Do people still want to spend the extra money, which no doubt will be the case? You'll probably spend a little extra to have that disc drive.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Because
without a doubt,
they want to eventually phase out the cost of physical media to manufacture. All they have to do is put it out digitally. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
And that includes them.
Not me, though.
Yeah, exactly. So what I do want to point out is if you're a collector, I'm going to make the prediction to go out now, or when it's time for pre-order, get your disc version now. Because that will, if they do decide to go that way, it will be the rare model. It'll be the one that people want later down the line, because they want all digital down the line.
And that's true, and that in a way scares me.
Look at the PlayStation 1 with the backwards compatibility, or 3 with the backwards compatibility with 1 and 2, which was taken away after a year in production.
Not even a year.
Yeah,
it's like after
that model,
the first
that model
models.
got discontinued. That's my prediction. Get your hands on that model while it's out before they discontinue it.
No, and it's definitely a good. Yeah, actually, and I'm gonna be going for the physical one now. And now also because they have not announced a price yet.
Nope. And neither
What
is
would
Xbox.
you predict? I know,
Right
neither
now
is
they're
Xbox.
both kind of
No, they're waiting
pumping the
each
brakes.
other out. They're
Yeah.
they're playing chicken to see.
But
who's
that's my
first.
prediction. I do think one will be more expensive than the other. Digital being cheaper
Well,
than that physical.
obviously, because even Xbox One has a digital only version.
Yep.
So
Yep.
and it's going to be the same.
It's the
thing.
way of the future, guys.
What would you predict the price to be?
I will say to get one with the disc, it'll probably be upwards of $500. I think the digital will be probably $449.99.
You literally said the exact thing I was going to say. I think the system is going to be $500, but the digital version is going to be $450.
Yeah, and that's, dude, guys, it's $50 to keep physical media. Go with that choice. If you look here, I'm looking at an image here in front of me again. Just goes to show you that it doesn't really make the size of the console that much different.
No.
I mean, you're going to save just minuscule space.
It's not even about that, honestly. It's more just they're going to make it slightly cheaper. Like you said, they want the
gauging
market,
the market
to go
interest.
that way.
If they know enough people will buy that model, which is also cheaper for them to make, by the way.
Yeah.
They're going to do that. And they don't have to keep printing out game after game. It's going to be on their online store, and does it get cheaper than that, does it?
Yeah.
No retail cost, nothing.
No,
So,
seriously.
what did you guys think of this? Did you find it as mind-blowing? I'm going to go out of my way to say this is one of my favorite presentations in recent history.
No, yeah, I mean, I've watched them every
No
year.
E3, can you believe that? Either
I know.
no stages, no big flashy light shows, nothing, no get-togethers because of the
Nothing.
current health crisis situation, and still they knocked it out of the park.
No, well, in a way, I actually think that helped because a lot of the times those things like those dance numbers in concerts and things like that, and the guy coming out and trying to it takes
It's
it
all
away.
about the game, I say.
Yeah, it takes
if you
it
can
away.
bring a good game, it doesn't matter what you present it like.
Yeah.
It's what you're presenting.
Exactly, and that's what they showed you with this conference, and this is what should be pretty much the example from here on out. So, Microsoft, it doesn't matter if you come out on a stage and make it look as
Or
pretty as
Nintendo
possible.
Direct. Give us more than Smash Brothers character announcements.
Seriously, yeah, give us a little more. But they did it great. This is probably one of the
It's
best
an example of
announcements.
how to do it right.
And also, this is probably one of my favorite system announcements that they've ever done, too. So, I think this conference did it well. And so well, that's why we're actually sitting here talking about it. And if you notice, everybody else is, too. So, and we're late to the game.
Yeah, I feel like it was, but we do feel like it was big enough news that it warranted a chance to kind of talk about it, make a video about it.
Absolutely. So, that'll go ahead and wrap it up for today. So, make sure before you guys like, share, and
Subscribe, please.
yeah, so, definitely leave a comment down below if you have an opinion on what's your MVP of this out of everything that was released, or what your opinions of the console are.
Do you guys think that the Sega Game Gear Micro announcement was more epic than this?
God.
Give us your opinions in the comments below.
All right, guys. You guys take it easy. We'll see you next time.
See ya.